Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
They always tell you there's a catch, a compromise, an asterisk. Terms apply. See store for details. Maybe less than advertised. May vary by mood. Probably. Sprite Zero Sugar? It's different. It's the lemon lime flavored refreshment you want with zero sugar. So, no fast voice? No caveats. Just refreshment. This is Sprite Zero Sugar. Obey your thirst.
Oh, man. You gotta be kidding me. A third episode of this series? Whatever. You know whatever?
Well, hell, son. Do I ever. And I couldn't agree with you more. I thought good old McConaughey had cornered the market on semi-autobiographical, self-reflective witticisms and anecdotes from my personal history. But I guess I was wrong. But while I'm here, might as well plug it. For any of all y'all that are out there that are interested, check out my national bestseller, Green Lights, wherever books are sold.
All right, Matthew. Enough of the shameless self-plugging. Get out of here.
Well, I was just...
That's it. Get!
Well, hell, son. No need to be rude.
Oh, wait a minute. I think I see a paying commercial that needs you as a spokesperson.
What now? Well, hell, I guess that's my cue. McConaughey, out.
Gets him every time. Enjoy the third in the trilogy, everybody. Bufford, out.
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Hope you're all doing well out there. I apologize for not being able to post a new episode last week. Had a couple new medical scares and started to work with a new doctor who specializes in this disease and just got a little overwhelmed with some sales that I couldn't really do and the treatments and whatnot. So I apologize about that, but we are back this week with a fresh new episode. And we're going to continue on with the series of follow what I say, not what I've done, because I think these are very valuable. It puts things into perspective, what I've been going through facing my own mortality and really getting a new perspective on a lot of things in life, a lot of things that I took for granted, or a lot of things that I gave my power away to, or just life lessons that I've learned throughout the process when I've had time to reflect. So today we're going to focus on one in particular, and it's kind of broad and multifaceted. So that's why we're going to just focus on one. And it's kind of all around the idea of knowing and really understanding your worth. And you might be like saying, oh yeah, I know, blah, 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 just do some meditation and, take some self-help classes and blah, blah. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about really deep down intrinsically understanding your worth and almost working on conditioning yourself to understand and not give away your power in many different ways, in many different facets of your life. And one I'm going to take right from the headlines again for me. And we've talked about this a tiny bit in the past, but it's something that I've always done. But nowadays, with all the stuff that's going on with me and really just being, stuck at home and not being able to function at all or work in the studio as much or have my wife help me package my sales and stuff like that because I can't do it on my own, it's really put this into a new perspective or even taken it to the next level. And that is with sales, for example. I got a new offer on one of the art marketplaces this last weekend. And it was, it was a big offer. It was for a big triptych that I did, over $6,000 painting. And they offered me 40% off. Like the offer was for 40% less than what the artwork was worth. And I really need the money right now for obvious reasons, for health reasons, and for, the money we've put into trying to solve this condition that I'm going through. And, I need the money really badly. But at the same time, there was almost something greater than my need for money that kicked in this time. And it's always been there, but in the past, I've kind of given some things away and rationalized, oh, well, it's still good money. It's still worthwhile. But, now with these new elements that I have to deal with in life, and the fact that it's so difficult for me to even package these paintings and get them out, and it's hard for me to even get these paintings packaged and do all the things that go along with consciously packaging and writing a note to the collector and getting the stuff out there in a timely fashion and really protecting it, getting materials, all that stuff that I took for granted in the past has become almost impossible for me. So it's like, well, am I going to give my work away for a 40% discount? And then on top of that, having to pay a 35% commission, on some marketplaces, 50% commission. This one was, I believe, 33, which was better, but still, you get the 40% discount, then you get the 33% commission on top of that. And then on top of that, I had to pay for shipping. So it ended up working out to still making a good chunk of money. It was like $2,500 or something, but that's way less than half of what the painting is worth, or the triptych is worth. And I was just like, you know what? I know, even though I need the money right now so badly, I know that when I get this out there and I work on all the packaging and, writing the note and getting it out there in a timely fashion and stressing out about this, and then working with DHL because I'm going to have to set up the shipping on my own because they don't handle the shipping, and then dealing with that in the past. On large pieces, one time it took me 2 months to figure out and negotiate a shipment with DHL. And it was my largest painting sale I'd ever done. That's why it was complicated. But it still ended up not being almost worth it because of the stress and the time I had to give away to do this. And I honestly didn't think it was going to happen at one point. When I finally got it out and got it out to the collector, I was like, wow, was this even worth it? And luckily the collector was happy with it and they paid full price. And it ended up being kind of worth it with this one at the end because they paid full price for it. But in this situation, I was like, well, I'm still making a little chunk of money that can go towards, my medical bills or paying mortgage or paying for studio stuff or whatever, trying to right the ship a little bit. But I just know at this point, I know it in my bones. And now with this new added layer, I know it even more that I'm going to kick myself if I give this away. So I negotiated. I did a counter offer to this collector and I sent it. I had to, reject their offer. And I did a counter, which basically was like going for a little bit more understandable percentage off. I still gave them a percentage off that was valuable, but I also decided this is the least amount I'm willing to take for this. And then I added the shipment on top of that. So the collector was still getting a very good discount on the work, but I knew that being able to do this and handle the shipping cost at least, and then getting the bare minimum of the percentage that I would take for the work was going to make me happy and hopefully make everybody happy. And there's another side of this that maybe we've talked about in the past, but a lot of times when you have people lowballing you on your work, or, maybe they just love your work and they can't afford it and they want to get it at all costs, but they have to give you this offer that is a really high percentage off your work. Well, that's great and everything, but in my experience of selling 700 paintings and lots of international, at least 500 plus international paintings, the ones that are doing the discounts, these hefty discounts, have the most probability of having problems because it's something they're really pushing their budget anyway. And then it's going to end up being maybe a problem down the road of like, well, you know what? I have buyer's remorse and there's nothing wrong with the paintings, but I just decided I don't want it anymore. So then not only did you accept this huge discount and then put forth this massive amount of effort to get this boxed up, to get it consciously wrapped, to get the materials, to get it shipped out on time, to deal with the courier, to do all this stuff and then wait for it and then have it returned on top of that. And then you wasted all the time, that time and effort and energy you can't get back. And obviously you lose the money, the little money that you were supposed to get anyway. So I've learned that lesson the hard way in the past. but it's really been hammered home with being ill that, you know what, it's just not worth it. It doesn't matter. There's a higher thing at play here with me, which is, artistic integrity. And I'm not going to give my work away anymore for anything less than what I think it's worth. And that just should be understandable. And you know what? If I were trying to get artwork from an artist, I would feel bad asking an artist to give their work away for 40% off, something that comes from, their soul, from digging deep into their own experiences and laying it all bare out on the canvas or whatever your medium is. I would feel bad. And I would never even ask an artist to do that. And I understand some people don't get that, they've never had any experience in the art world, but it's our job also to educate. And, it's a rising tides thing as well. Like if we say no to lowball offers, and if we all say no to lowball offers, then people will start to understand, well, we can't give lowball offers, and everybody will end up making more money in the future anyway. So that's one ripped from the headlines example of knowing your own worth, and really through trial and error and going through what I've been going through now, really understanding my value even more, and that some things are obviously more important than just getting a fair amount of money and sacrificing a little bit of your own self-worth just so you can pay a bill or something. Now,
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Say, this is up to every artist to decide. Like, I'm not telling you to reject any offers. There are offers that I would take. There are good discounts for collectors, for large paintings, for paintings that I haven't, maybe put a lot of time into, that I would take. And that's up to every artist to decide what their limit is, what their baseline is, as far as like, okay, this is the discount that I'll take. I'm not saying don't take any discounts. For you, there might be something that you're starting your career and you might need to take some bigger discounts at this point. Maybe that's you. You're just trying to build a presence online, and then you can work your way up to that. We've talked about that too. So you need to dig deep on this and really search your heart, figure out what works for you, what you're willing to do. And then at that point, you just set up a series of guidelines and you say, okay, well, I know I will never give my art away for less than this amount. And then you just stick to it. You can find a little parameter of where you will work with. And, maybe that changes over time, and that's fine. You have to figure this out for you. But I think it's really important for us to establish at least knowing our worth as artists, and knowing our monetary worth, and knowing our intrinsic worth, what our artwork is worth, what our time is worth, what our soul is worth, if I may be so bold. And that goes for everything. We've talked about worth in so many different ways. I've highlighted this in the past, even recently, about knowing your worth as far as giving your power away to people, or being a people pleaser, giving your energy away, saying yes to too many things. All of these things also fall under the umbrella of knowing your worth. I understand that we're all human beings and we crave connection and we crave acceptance and we crave community on some level. But there is a point where you need to realize if you're being taken advantage of, and this can be on many different levels, especially in the art world or the acting world, any of the creative arts, there is a tendency for people to take advantage. So we have to really, really dig deep and understand our own worth on many different levels. So let's see, where are we at today? Okay, I think that's... I could go into some different aspects of knowing your worth, but I think we've covered some of that in the past, and I will leave it at that for right now and get back to some treatments here. I'm kind of losing my voice anyway, so hope everybody is doing well out there. Thanks for sticking with me through this journey, everybody. Looking forward to getting well, getting better, hopefully, and getting back on track with everything when it comes to my art and this podcast and life in general. That's what we're all shooting for. So hope you're doing well. Take care of yourselves. Take care of everybody else out there. And we will see you next time on the next episode, everybody. All right. Bye-bye.
As if all this wasn't enough, I got stuck in a game of red light, green light with McConaughey. Come on, McConaughey, I've been stuck here.
Red light.
I'm stuck in the...
Green light.
Oh, hey, look at...
Red light.
You know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. As if we need to sell any more of his books.
Green light.
Yeah, we get it, Matthew. Just give it a rest.
Well, hell, son. I know when I'm not welcome. It's time for me to give myself the old green light.
You gotta be kidding me. Another one? See you next time, suckers. Or am I the sucker? Whatever. You know, whatever.
This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.